Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at EPYON. Finally, I got an EPYON, so I'm happy to show it to you. Of course, it's Robot Damashii, Robot Spirits, number 130 Gundam EPYON. Very cool figure. It does transform into whatever its Neo Bird mode is called. I have no idea, I don't remember, and I really hate the way it looks, so I'm not even going to show you in this video. If you guys really want to see what the flying airplane mode looks like, I can do a video for that, but I'm not going to do it for this one because I hate it, and I really don't think you should display him that way because he's way cooler like this. So let's take a look at the figure. Now, I thought for a long time, I mean, I liked EPYON in the show, it was pretty cool, but I thought that, well, I don't really need the Robot Damashii figure of him because it just looks kind of like a dragon robot guy, kind of like the Red Ranger in one of the Power Rangers not long after the original series when they were all ninjas and he had a dragon, and it reminded me of that. It's a little bit loose. So I didn't get it, but now that I have him, it's really cool figure. I couldn't be happier with it. Lots of nice detail. The composition's good, even though it's mostly red. There's enough gray and black to break it up, and all of this black lining throughout looks really good, and then the yellow parts are done well. The claws have a little bit of a gold sheen to them. Just looks really nice. The head detail is really good. Super happy with it. So he's, as you can see, it's a really imposing figure. He stands to the top of his head almost 6 inches tall, so he does have some size to him, so that's good. And he comes with some pretty cool accessories. Before we get to the cool accessories though, I'll show you the parts. He comes with alternate pieces for the flying mode, so that's basically just the forearms with no hands. He has the modified legs for the flying mode, and he comes with some little thruster thingies. So I'm not going to be showing you those in use just because I don't want to. I don't like it. Alright, so let's look at everything we have included. Oh, I forgot. This also is a replacement chest piece for the flying mode. You put that on there and it gives you a display stage. I guess we should probably go through the articulation before we go through the other stuff. So the head, ball peg on top of the neck, and then the neck is on a ball peg as well. So even though it's a little blocky and it's gets in the way a little bit as you're posing him, you can get pretty good posability out of the head. No problems there really. The shoulders, standard ball peg going into the torso, so that'll move around there. Shoulder flap is articulated on that hinge. You can see that little gray hinge in there that moves on. And the shoulder itself has its own hinge, so really no posability issues. You can get it all the way out there, no problem. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Again, no problem at all. Really good range of motion. The forearm does rotate, so you can move the claws around if you want to, but I think they're fine where they are. For the wrist, double ball peg, so that's good. For the torso, we do have an ab crunch. It's fairly limited though. Just tucks in a little bit right there. And then we have the, oops, I'll get that. We have the ball peg for the lower torso articulation. Full swivel, does lean in and out, backward and forward, side to side. No problems there. I have noticed that this chest piece is a bit loose. It likes to pop out when you don't want it to, so maybe some sticky tack or something to hold that in place would be a good idea. For the skirt, we have the standard front articulation, we have the standard side articulation, and we have this back articulation, which is possibly, again I don't know for sure, possibly part of the transformation. I think it is probably, but we do have skirt articulation in the back, so that could be useful in the standard posing if you choose to do that. We don't normally get the skirt articulation, so that's kind of good. Okay, so the hips, just like most of the other wing figures, if not all of them, standard ball peg, but we get pretty good range of motion out of them, all the way to the side, all the way forward, full thigh swivel, really no issues there, and it's not super loose, so that's good. We have a double jointed knee with a hinge right here for this blade, so that's pretty cool. We have, for the ankle, we get a nice hinge right here. I'm not sure why it comes out like that. I guess it's just for posability purposes, but that's new to me. So we have this hinge up here, and then it can kind of go in, and then everything tucks back together. But we have that hinge, which has an ankle rocker built into it right in there. So that moves that way, and then there's a ball peg on the bottom of that so we have more of an ankle rocker, and forward and back and everything else on that ball peg. Then we have a swivel here for the toe. It's actually a ball peg, but it's essentially a swivel because you don't get much out of it otherwise. And then we have a hinge here which brings the foot down, and it brings it up, but not so far. But you can, like I said, bring the ankle all the way forward. So he's got pretty good range of motion in his ankles. I do appreciate that. So the range of motion for just about all of his articulation is at least as expected, and if not, a little bit better, so that's pretty good. You'll notice that this side skirt panel has a little peg on here, so we're going to get into the into the accessories just for that part. And you get this guy, which pegs on. I'm going to do it in my left hand. So that'll peg on there, and of course that can spin around once it's on, if I can get it on. Okay, and what you want to do with that is stick his little dagger in there, and he's got that hanging off the side. I think it goes in a little farther, but I'm not going to worry about that. So that hangs there, or you can put this piece on, and then it's connected to the bendable wire, or the cable, that connects to this dagger, which is supposed to be the same thing. You put that in his hand, and of course with a dagger you need a blade. So we have two different blades, and of course they work on either dagger. We have the smaller one, and by smaller I mean it's still pretty darn big, but it is smaller than the other one, so it's almost as big as his body. And then we have this giant one, which is just freaking awesome. That goes on there, and it is massive. Look at that. It's way bigger than his body. It's really, really cool. It actually measures about 9 inches long, so it's pretty cool, and it's a really nice translucent green with some silver paint in there. Same for this guy too, it's just a little smaller, but really nice green with the silver paint. So those are really awesome accessories. And then we have, well, let's do this piece. This is a nice one we can get out of the way. This right here, which is just the display stage thing. I believe that tucks in on these guys. And there we go. The person I bought this from did not include the instruction sheet, unfortunately, so if I'm wrong about any of these accessories, please let me know. I don't think I am, but you never know. Alright, so we can talk about the articulation on the wings before we get into the other stuff, just because I feel like doing that now. So we have a hinge right there. Both sides have that hinge, which is a ball connected to a ball peg, so these move around on a ball peg, and a hinge. So it's a hinge with a ball peg on that black part there. It is a little loose on this one. I imagine if you get a brand new one, it's not going to be, but it kind of ratchets. So I suppose it's probably going to be like that for just about everybody. If it's not being held in place by the ratchet, it's going to kind of snap back down to the other ratchet. So I'm okay with that. So we have that hinge. Then we have a hinge up here for the wing. And then we have a hinge down here, which makes this pop out, which is pretty cool. And then a hinge for that last bit. So his wings are pretty nice. They are kind of thin and slim, but I'm pretty sure that's show accurate, so no complaints there. But you can put them in some pretty cool poses with those wings. Even though they are fairly narrow, they look nice, so that's good. And then these guys, are these guys articulated? I don't think they are. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so now we can talk about the shield. And this is the shield, and I'm pretty positive that this piece right here, this little ball peg, is only to be used for the flying mode. If I'm wrong about that, someone please correct me in the comment section, but I'm almost positive that's what that's for. This part is for connecting onto his forearm, of course. We want to rotate that down and put that on there, and so he's got the shield on his forearm. And the shield's pretty nice. It looks good. But I think I would recommend doing it like this. And I don't know. Oh, no, you can't. Yeah, you can. So you rotate that. And like I said, I don't have the instructions, so I'm not positive. But I would put it underneath, and that'll line it up better. So that's probably what you're supposed to do. I just don't know for sure. I think so, though. That looks much better. So you take the shield, and then you have one more accessory to go with the shield. And that is the spiky spike thing, the whip, which is nice. It's just like Tall Geese 3's. I think it's the exact same sculpt, actually. You also get this piece, which is a sculpt of 3 of them connected. I'm not sure what that's for, if that's just supposed to be an extension or whatever. But that just pegs in like normal, and then it gets longer, of course, because of that. And then you can connect that in there, if you can. If you can't, then you can't, but you should be able to. Come on. There we go. So he's got the whip that connects to his shield, and that is pretty awesome. It's really long once you do the extension. And then if you want to, just like on EPYON, or on EPYON, on Tallgeese 3, pop everything out, pull off the end piece, and put that in the shield, and then you have just this standard shield. So again, pretty darn cool. I really like this guy. I love the implementation of the accessories, and that giant green blade is really awesome. Alright, so lastly we have some hands to talk about. As you can see here, we have the 2 fist hands, which are standard. We have the thumbs up beam saber handle hand, which is awesome. Always need that thumbs up one. We have a single gripping hand, and then we have 2 double gripping hands. I'm not sure why you get both, but you do. I haven't figured that out yet. I thought it was weird when I opened the package and I saw 2 of these. I thought the guy that sent it to me screwed something up, but then I saw other pictures of this figure, and I'm pretty sure you get the both. So again, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure you get both. I just don't know why. Actually, one of them has a little tab in there. Do you see that? The tab on that one. This one doesn't have it. So I'm guessing it's for a reason. I just don't know what it is. And then lastly, we have the jazz hands for the style pose. So you get everything you could expect for, hope for in a Robot Damashii and more. This guy's really, really cool. This right here alone makes the sale, I think. It's so awesome. It's humongous, really cool. Makes me wish we got some more effect parts for the Dragon Ball figures. But it's definitely worth it for the Gundam figures. I'm really happy to have this guy, and I think you guys should probably pick him up because you're going to be just as happy to have him as I am. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.